Coulomb's inverse square law of magnetism. Let us understand what Coulomb's inverse square law of magnetism status. Let us consider a magnet. A magnet has two poles. Poles have the property of either attracting or repelling another magnetic pole. Therefore, let me consider two isolated magnetic poles of pole strengths M1 and M2 placed in a medium. They are separated by a distance r. Then, if the poles are like poles, there will be repulsion. If the poles are unlike poles, there will be attraction force. It was Coulomb who first brought out a relationship between these pole strengths, the distance between the pole strengths and the medium in which they are placed. According to Coulomb, he said that the force of attraction or repulsion is directly proportional to the product of their pole strengths and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. That means if the distance between the poles increases, the force decreases. Therefore, by combining these two equations, we get F is proportional to M1 M2 by R square. This proportionality is removed by a constant K. F is equal to K M1 M2 by R square, where K is called the proportionality constant. Proportionality constant. K is called the proportionality constant. Now, when these two poles are placed in a medium, what happens when these two poles are placed in a medium? When the poles are placed in a medium, then the value of K is taken as K is equal to mu by 4 pi. So, then Coulomb's inverse square law is written as F is equal to mu by 4 pi M1 M2 by R square. So, the value of K here, we have written K is equal to mu by 4 pi. The value of K depends on the magnetic nature of the medium in which the magnetic poles are placed, and they also depend upon the units that we use in a SI system or CGS system. Therefore, mu is called the absolute permeability of the medium. Mu is called absolute permeability of the medium. Now, what is called permeability? We used a word called permeability. So, what is permeability means? Permeability is the property of a medium which allows magnetic field lines to pass through it. Suppose, you see, I have taken an example here. I will demonstrate it. Suppose there is a magnet of pole strength M1 and it has a field lines of 100. Let us assume it can emit 100 field lines, and it is placed in a medium which will allow only 90 field lines to pass through it. A magnet can emit 100 field lines. It is placed in a medium where it doesn't allow all the 100 field lines to pass through it. It allows only 90. This property of that medium which allows this magnetic field lines is called as permeability. Therefore, permeability is the property. Permeability is the property of the medium, which allows magnetic field lines to pass through it. Suppose here I have taken magnets and you see the medium in between these two magnets is what? Air is the medium. Now see, I have taken two magnets. what is the medium in between these two magnets? Air is the medium. So if I place it to a considerable distance, the force of attraction or repulsion is what? More. Now when I place these two magnets in between a cardboard, you see the force of attraction what? Decreases. Therefore this box is not allowing the field lines to pass through it. That property of this box is called as what? Permeability. So now if the magnetic poles are placed in free space, the second case we will see. If the magnetic poles are placed in free space, that is, as told earlier, there are two magnetic poles M1 and M2. They are placed at a distance r. Now they are placed where? In free space. What is free space in physics means? Free space is that region that has no gravitational and electromagnetic field. So what is free space in physics? Free space is a region. It is a region that has no gravitational or gravitational and electromagnetic field. So that region we call it as what? Free space. Now the permeability value of this free space is taken as mu naught. So mu naught for air or vacuum is calculated as mu naught is equal to 4 pi into 10 to the power of minus 7 Henry per meter, or its value is 4 pi into 10 to the power of minus 7 Newton per ampere square. Now let us understand how did we get this value 4 pi here. So we said that the poles are placed in a medium, that is what? Free space. Free space is a three-dimensional region. So in a three-dimensional region, the surface area of a sphere is how much? 4 pi r square. For unit radius surface area, what will be the surface area? Unit radius. So 4 pi, radius is what? 1 unit, therefore it is 1 square. The surface area for unit radius sphere will be 4 pi. Now if mu is the permeability of unit radius surface area, if mu is the permeability of unit radius surface area, then for 1 unit surface area, K is the permeability. Therefore K, value of K is equal to 1 by 4 pi into mu. This is how we get the value of K is equal to mu by 4 pi. Therefore, for free space, Coulomb's inverse square law is given as F is equal to mu naught by 4 pi m1 m2 by r square, where mu naught value is, as told earlier, 4 pi into 10 to the power of minus 7 Newton per ampere square. Now, since permeability depends upon the medium, so for different mediums there will be different permeability values. Therefore, we have to define another term called as relative permeability. Relative permeability. So relative permeability is denoted by the letter mu r. What is relative permeability means? The absolute permeability of a medium. What is relative permeability means? The absolute permeability of a medium as compared with the permeability of free space. We denoted the permeability of a medium as mu and the permeability of free space as what? Mu naught. Therefore, the relative permeability is nothing but the ratio of permeability of a medium to that of permeability of free space. I will write it in words. The absolute permeability of relative permeability is defined as the absolute permeability of a medium, absolute permeability of a medium as compared with the permeability of free space, permeability of free space is known as relative permeability, denoted by the letter mu r of the medium, relative permeability of the medium. So mu r is equal to mu by mu naught. Therefore, if we can write it as mu is equal to mu naught into mu r for air or vacuum. For air or vacuum, the value of mu r is equals to 1. We have to note that relative permeability is a ratio of mu and mu naught. Therefore, it has no units. From this explanation, we can understand what Coulomb's inverse square law states as. So, the force of attraction or repulsion between two magnetic poles. So, these are the two magnetic poles. So, when they are like poles, there is a repulsive force. When they are unlike poles, there is an attraction force. The force of attraction or repulsion between two magnetic poles is directly proportional to the product of their pole strengths and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them, and it acts along the line joining the poles. So the force acts along the line joining these poles. So this was what Coulomb explained about the strength of the pole strengths of the magnet and the distance between the pole strengths and the medium in which it is placed. Strictly speaking, the inverse square law of magnetism is hypothetical because isolated poles do not exist. We shall study it because it offers several advantages in understanding the concept of magnetism. So in magnets, we read that poles cannot be separated. But to understand Coulomb's inverse square law, we assumed that the poles are isolated poles exist in a medium, and we came to a conclusion on the force existing between the poles of a magnet. Therefore, from Coulomb's inverse square law, we conclude that the force of attraction or repulsion between two magnetic poles placed in free space is given by F is equal to mu naught by 4 pi m1 m2 by r square, where mu naught value is 4 pi into 10 to the power of minus 7 Newton per ampere square. Now, let us define what is unit pole strength. What is unit pole strength? Suppose, let us assume that there are two isolated poles, M1 and M2, whose magnitude is 1 ampere meter. So, the magnitude of this pole strength is how much? 1 ampere meter. They are separated by a distance r. Let this radius, distance r between them be what? 1 meter. Then what will be the force according to Coulomb's inverse square law? F is equal to mu naught value is what? 4 pi into 10 to the power of minus 7 by 4 pi into what is the magnitude of this pole strength? 1 into 1 by what is this r value? 1 meter square. So on simplification we get it as 10 to the power of minus 7 newtons. Therefore we can define one unit pole strength as the unit magnetic pole. The unit magnetic pole is defined, one unit magnetic pole is defined as that pole which repels. We use the word repels because we have taken identical poles here. So the unit magnetic pole is defined as the pole which repels an identical pole at 1 meter distance. At 1 meter distance with a force of 10 to the power of minus 7 newtons. This is a very small value, 10 to the power of minus 7 newtons. In further explanations, we will be using this unit pole strength concept. Next physical quantity is magnetic induction or magnetic flux density. Let us read about magnetic flux density in the next topic. Now, what is magnetic induction? Magnetic induction is a process in which a magnetic material is magnetized when it is placed in a magnetic field. You see, I have taken a magnet. A magnet has a magnetic field around it, and I am having a iron rod in my hand. Iron rod, it gets attracted to what? A magnet. It is not a magnet by itself, but when I place it near a magnetic field, it is getting attracted. I will place it at a considerable distance where it is not getting attracted. Now, if I sprinkle iron filings on this iron rod, you see this iron rod is behaving like a magnet because of induction. Now, if I move this iron rod to a little bit far off distance, you can see the magnetic property is losing. That means the induction is decreasing. Now if I come forward again, you see the magnetic property of this iron rod is getting increased when I come close to the magnet. So this process of this iron rod getting magnetized when placed in a magnetic field is called magnetic induction. Now to find the magnetic induction at a point in a magnetic field. Now to find the magnetic induction, I am writing it in short form. At a point, magnetic induction at a point in a magnetic field. In a magnetic field. Now, let us assume a uniform magnetic field. Let us assume a uniform magnetic field. A uniform magnetic field is denoted by the letter, magnetic field is denoted by the letter B, and this direction is always from north to south. So let us assume a uniform magnetic field. If a pole strength M is placed at a point, if a pole strength M is placed at a point in a magnetic field, this pole strength experiences a force at this point. It experiences a force at this point. Therefore, the magnetic induction is denoted by the letter B. Therefore, the magnetic induction at this point due to the magnetic field is given as B is equal to F by M. So, F is also a vector. So, because force has a direction. Now, to understand this magnetic induction concept, I will use an example from dynamics. Suppose there is an object of mass M. When this object is placed in a gravitational field G, so it experiences a force when it is placed in a gravitational field. What is the relationship between these three? The gravitational force G will be equal to the force by the mass according to Newton's second law. Similarly, here when a pole strength M is placed in a magnetic field, it experiences a force. Therefore, the magnetic induction B is given by the formula F by M as similar to this, G is equal to F by M. Therefore, I can write it as the magnetic induction denoted by the letter B at that point means here, at that point due to the magnetic field, is magnetic induction is equal to force by the pole strength of that pole strength. Now, to know the units of measurement of magnetic induction, so the SI unit of magnetic induction is the SI unit of magnetic induction B is, so what is the relationship? B is equal to F by M. So force is measured in what? Newtons. So the SI unit of magnetic induction is Newton per, what is the unit of pole strength? Ampere meter, or we can write it as joules per ampere meter square, or we can write it as volt second by meter square, or you can write it as Weber per meter square, or you can write it as Tesla, denoted by the letter T. So these are the SI units of measurement of magnetic induction. The CGS unit of magnetic induction is, CGS unit of magnetic induction B is Gauss, Gauss. Gauss is the name of a scientist. So the relationship between Gauss and Tesla is given as 1 Gauss is equal to 10 to the power of minus 4 Tesla. We use this relationship in solving problems. The dimensional formula for magnetic induction is the dimensional formula for magnetic induction is, what is the relationship? Magnetic induction is equal to force by M. Therefore, the dimensional formula for force is M L T power minus 2, and the dimensional formula for pole strength is ampere meter, so it is A into L. On simplification, we get LL gets cancelled. It is M T power minus 2 A power minus 1. Therefore, the dimensional formula for magnetic induction is M T power minus 2 A power minus 1. We noticed that the magnetic induction of a magnetic material when placed in a magnetic field depends upon the direction of the magnetic field. Therefore, magnetic induction is a vector quantity. So, to know the direction of magnetic induction, when a pole of strength M is placed in an external magnetic field, this is a magnetic field denoted by the letter B. Let us assume that this is a magnetic field. Magnetic field is denoted by what? B. If a pole strength M is placed in an external magnetic field, and if this pole is a north pole, it experiences a force. How much force it experiences? F is equal to mb. This pole experiences a force F is equal to mb in the direction of the field. So the direction of the field is in this way. Therefore, the direction of magnetic induction is also in the same direction. Suppose if the pole strength M is a south pole, then it experiences the same force F is equal to mb in the direction opposite to this field. So it experiences a force F is equal to minus mb. Why I have written minus? Because the direction is opposite to the field. Therefore, what we can conclude? We can conclude that magnetic induction is a vector quantity. Magnetic induction is a vector quantity. It is always directed. It is always directed away from north pole. That is what we noticed here. The magnetic induction is always directed away from the north pole, that is in the direction of the field. And or it is direct, magnetic induction is directed towards the south pole, towards the south pole. So that is how we will decide the direction of magnetic induction.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, to find the magnetic induction at a point due to an isolated magnetic pole, let us, I will write it, let us consider a magnetic pole. Let us consider a magnetic pole of strength M. Let it be kept at a point. Let it be kept at a point O. So I will mark it here. Let us consider a magnetic pole of strength M kept at a point what? O. Now let us consider a point P. I will write it out. Let us consider a point. Let us consider a point P at a distance. P at a distance R. Let this distance be how much? R. From where? From O. Now, to find the magnetic induction at this point P. Now, to find the magnetic induction at this point P due to the isolated magnetic pole, I will write it. Now, to find the magnetic induction where? At the point P. At the point P due to the isolated magnetic pole, due to the isolated magnetic pole. So to find the magnetic induction at this point P due to this isolated magnetic pole, what is that we have to do is we will place a unit north pole at this point. What is unit north pole means? I will place a north pole whose strength is 1 ampere meter. Whose pole strength is how much? 1 ampere meter. So now to find the magnetic induction at this point P due to this isolated magnetic pole, what am I going to do? Let us place a unit north pole. A unit north pole where? At P. So what is unit north pole? Unit north pole means its pole strength is 1 ampere meter. Now, according to Coulomb's inverse square law, the force on the unit north pole at P, the force on the unit north pole at what? P can be written as what? Therefore, the force on unit north pole at P, unit north pole at P, using Coulomb's inverse square law. What can I write? What does Coulomb's inverse square law tell us? F is equal to mu naught by 4 pi m1 m2 by r square. Here, what will be the force at this point P? F is equal to mu naught by 4 pi. Here, the pole strength is how much? M. So, instead of m1, I will substitute m. So, here the pole strength is how much? 1, and the distance is how much? R square. So, therefore, the force at P is how much? The force at P is F is equal to mu naught by 4 pi m by r square newtons. This is the force experienced at this point P due to this magnetic pole here. Now, the force on the unit north pole at P gives the magnetic induction. Now, the force on the unit north pole at P. Force on the unit north pole at P gives the magnetic induction at that point due to what? Due to the isolated magnetic pole. Isolated magnetic pole. Therefore, I can write the magnetic induction at P. Due to the isolated magnetic pole is the magnetic induction at P due to the isolated magnetic pole is B is equal to mu naught by 4 pi m by r square. So, since this is magnetic induction, its unit is Newton per ampere meter or Tesla. In the earlier topic, we have discussed about how to find the magnetic induction at a point in a magnetic field. So, we found the formula to be B is equal to F by M. Now, what is that we have derived here? Magnetic induction at a point due to an isolated magnetic pole. Therefore, we derived that B is equal to mu naught by 4 pi m by r square. That means the magnetic induction at a point due to an isolated magnetic pole is so much. B is equal to mu naught by 4 pi m by r square. The magnetic induction at a point in a magnetic field is how much? B is equal to F by M. We must use these appropriate formulas according to the given conditions in the problems. Now, let us find the resultant magnetic induction due to magnetic poles. Case 1, first case. Case 1. What is the condition given? Consider two like magnetic poles of strength M are placed at the two corners of an equilateral triangle of side A. Then the resultant magnetic induction at the third corner is how much is asked. So, consider two like magnetic poles. So, let us take an equilateral triangle. Let us take an equilateral triangle here. And let us take two magnetic like poles. I will take this north pole. This has north and this is also what? North pole. The length of the side of an equilateral triangle is how much? A. Therefore, this is also how much? A. This is also how much? A. Now, the resultant magnetic induction at the third corner is how much? What is the question? When two like magnetic pole strengths of M are placed at two corners of an equilateral triangle, then what is the resultant magnetic induction at this point? So, to know the resultant magnetic induction at this point, in the earlier topic we discussed that the magnetic induction at a point due to an isolated magnetic pole to be how much? B is equal to mu naught by 4 pi m by r square. Its unit is Newton per ampere meter. So, the magnetic induction at a point due to an isolated magnetic pole is how much? B. Therefore, the magnetic induction at this point due to this north pole will be how much? B. So, it will be in which direction? This direction. As told earlier, the direction of magnetic induction will be always away from the north. Now the magnetic induction at this point due to this north pole will also be how much? It will also be B. It will also be how much? B. So what will be the direction of magnetic induction? It will be away from the north pole. Now to find the resultant magnetic induction due to these two magnetic poles at this point, so these two are vectors, so the resultant will be here. Since this resultant magnetic field at the third corner has to be measured for an equilateral triangle. This angle is how much? 60 degrees. So the angle between the vectors is also how much? 60 degrees. Therefore, to find the resultant magnetic induction at this point, we use vector algebra concept here. So the resultant magnetic induction, that is B net, is equal to square root of, so in vectors we write p square plus q square plus 2pq cos theta. So here it is b square, again b square plus 2 b into angle is how much? 60 degrees. So it is cos 60 degrees. So on simplification we get it as b square plus b square is how much? 2b square plus 2b square into what is cos 60? Cos 60 is 1 by 2. So 2 gets cancelled. So it is square root of 2b square plus b square is 3b square. Therefore it is b root 3. Therefore the net resultant magnetic induction at this point means at the third corner of the equilateral triangle is root 3 times b. That means the magnetic induction here is root 3 times B. So I can write it as B net is equal to root 3 times, what is the value of B here? Mu naught by 4 pi m by r square. What is its unit? Newton per ampere meter. Let us see the next case. Case 2. Consider two equal and unlike poles, each of strength m, are placed at the two corners of an equilateral triangle of side A. Now I will consider an equilateral triangle. The side of the equilateral triangle is how much? A. I will take it as what? A. Now according to the given condition, take two equal and unlike poles. So equal and unlike poles. So I will take one as north pole and the other as what? South pole. Their pole strengths are same. Pole strength is how much here? M. Here also the pole strength is how much? M. Now I want to calculate the resultant magnetic induction at the third corner here. What is the resultant magnetic induction at this point? So as told earlier, the magnetic induction at a point, due to a isolated magnetic pole is how much? B is equal to mu naught by 4 pi m by r square. So its value is B. Therefore the magnetic induction at this point due to this north pole will be how much? B, and its direction will be away from the north pole, right? Now the magnetic induction at this point due to this south pole will also be how much? It will also be what? B, but in which direction? Towards the south pole. So now these two are what? Vectors whose magnitudes are what? Same. Now the resultant magnetic induction at this corner. So resultant magnetic induction means from vectors we know that the resultant will be in this direction. Since the poles are placed at the corners of the equilateral triangle, the angle made here is 60 degrees. Therefore this angle will be how much? 120 degrees. Now to calculate the resultant magnetic induction at this point, we use vectors. So the net magnetic induction, net resultant magnetic induction at this point is square root of b square plus b square plus 2b into cos how many degrees? 120 degrees. Therefore, on further simplification, b square plus b square is how much? 2b square plus 2b square cos 120 degrees is how much? Minus 1 by 2. So 2 gets cancelled, minus b square. So square root of 2b square minus b square is what? Square root of b square. So that is nothing but b. Therefore, the resultant magnetic induction at the third corner of the equilateral triangle is B itself. Therefore, the resultant magnetic induction is same as the magnetic induction at a point due to an isolated magnetic pole. Case 3. The resultant magnetic induction at the center of the line joining the two poles of a horseshoe magnet of pole strength M separated at a distance A. Now I have taken a horseshoe magnet whose poles are, let this be what? North pole and south pole. The poles are separated by a distance how much? It is told A. Now what is that we have to find? We have to find the resultant induction at the center of this line joining. We have to find the resultant induction at the center of the line joining the two poles of horseshoe magnet. So to find the resultant magnetic induction, I will place a unit north pole. So earlier we have found a formula. What is that formula? The magnetic induction at a point, due to an isolated magnetic pole is how much? B. So its value is mu naught by 4 pi m by r square. So here I want the resultant magnetic induction at this point. Let this point be what? Something like that, P. So I want the resultant magnetic induction at this point. Now what is this distance between this point and the north pole? It is A by 2. What is the distance between this point and the south pole? It is again A by 2. Now what will be the direction of induction at this point due to this north pole? The direction will be in this direction, away from the north pole. What will be the direction of this magnetic induction at this point due to this south pole? It will also be in this direction. Therefore, the net magnetic induction at that point will be the sum of the magnetic induction due to this north pole, plus the magnetic induction due to the south pole. So, what is the formula for this magnetic induction due to a point? B is equal to mu naught by 4 pi. So, magnetic induction due to this north pole will be mu naught by 4 pi. Pole strength is how much? M. So, it is M by, instead of r square, I will write A by 2 whole square. Similarly, what will be the magnetic induction due to this south pole? Bs is equal to mu naught by 4 pi m by, again it is how much? A by 2 whole square. So to get the net magnetic induction, I have to add these two. B net is equal to this Bn plus Bs. That means mu naught by 4 pi m by, when you square it, it is A square by 4 plus again it is mu naught by 4 pi m by a square by 4. Now you take out mu naught by 4 pi m common outside. This reciprocal, it will become as 4 by a square plus how much? 4 by a square. So this is nothing but mu naught by 4 pi m into, denominators are same, it is 8 by a square. Therefore, if you bring 8 common outside, it is 8 into mu naught by 4 pi m by a square. So this is nothing but the resultant magnetic induction at the center of a U-shaped magnet is 8 times. We can write it as what? 8 times the magnetic induction, that is 8 times mu naught by 4 pi m by a square. Therefore, if a question is asked like that, like which magnet has more strength around it, we know that a magnet has two poles, so the strength of the magnet is also large at the poles. The strength of the magnet is also large at the poles. Therefore, a U-shaped magnet will have more magnetic induction. So it is how much? 8 times the magnetic induction at the center.